I used to think betrayal would announce itself loudly, raised voices, shattered glass, a door closing hard enough to shake the frame. When my wife came back from her trip and told me she was pregnant with my best friend's husband's child, there was none of that. Just a pause between us at the kitchen table. Her hands folded too neatly, my coffee cooling untouched. She said it quickly, like ripping off a bandage. I didn't know how to tell you. It happened. It was a mistake. I was going to end it, but I couldn't. The timeline was vague, the regret rehearsed. What struck me wasn't the confession, it was the delay. She'd known for weeks. Long enough to book a doctor's appointment. Long enough to tell him. Long enough to decide what she wanted. I was the last variable informed. I didn't shout. I asked practical questions. Dates, medical details, whether he knew. She looked almost disappointed by my calm, as if she had prepared herself for rage and found only paperwork. I didn't want to hurt you, she said. The words hovered there, hollow. The hurt wasn't in the act anymore. It was in the management of it. The silence curated. The decisions made in rooms I didn't know existed. Over the next few days, she oscillated between apology and justification. She said it had been loneliness. Too much wine. An emotional connection that just happened. I listened without interrupting. I noticed how often she framed it as something that unfolded around her, not something she chose. Meanwhile, my best friend, Daniel, texted me about a golf game. Next weekend, casual, unaware that I knew. Or maybe he assumed she had told me already. That assumption, more than anything, clarified things. I asked her one question the third night. Does his wife know? Her face changed then. Not panic, calculation. No, it would destroy them. The pronoun sat wrong, them, not us. I nodded. Okay. That was when the shift began, though she didn't see it. I didn't contact Daniel immediately. I didn't confront him in private, didn't threaten or posture. Instead, I called a lawyer the next morning. A quiet consultation, options, timelines, financial exposure, custody realities and cases involving paternity disputes. The lawyer's tone was clinical. He asked for documentation, medical records, travel dates, proof. The system doesn't move on outrage. It moves on evidence. I gathered what I needed without spectacle. When Daniel finally called me, his voice tentative, I agreed to meet. We sat in his office after hours. He avoided eye contact at first, then tried to frame it as mutual weakness. He said he never meant for it to go this far. You're my best friend, he said. I thought she'd tell you sooner. There it was again. The delay outsourced to her. Responsibility softened by time. I know, I said evenly. She told me. He exhaled, relief bleeding into his posture. He thought this was the part where we negotiated forgiveness privately. I'm filing for divorce, I said, and I'll be petitioning for formal paternity confirmation. His face tightened. You don't have to drag this through court. I don't, I agreed. But I won't carry it quietly either. That was the first moment he understood the scale. The external consequence wasn't dramatic. No police, no shouting in driveways. It was a scheduled hearing. Certified mail, legal notifications that required signatures. His wife was served before he found the words to tell her himself. When she called me, voice shaking, I didn't embellish. I didn't editorialize. I gave her dates, facts, the same calm arithmetic I had used for myself. Authority, when it arrived, did so in stamped envelopes and court calendars. The control neither of them expected me to exercise wasn't emotional. It was procedural. My wife's face truly froze the day the DNA results were confirmed and filed. Not because of the biological truth, we all knew that, but because the paperwork made it irreversible. Affairs can live in shadows. Legal documents cannot. You could have handled this privately, she said that night. I could have, I replied. But you already did. Silence settled between us, heavier now. In the months that followed, everything became smaller. Conversation shortened. Mutual friends divided subtly, some retreating from discomfort. Daniel's marriage unraveled under the weight of disclosure. Not explosively, just steadily, like a structure whose foundation had shifted. I didn't celebrate any of it. There was no satisfaction in watching consequences land, only a quiet steadiness in knowing I hadn't lied to protect anyone's comfort. People assume dignity comes from dominance. It doesn't. It comes from alignment. When your actions match the truth you're willing to live with. By the time the divorce was finalized, the pregnancy had advanced enough to make the future tangible. I chose not to contest more than necessary. No vindictive claims, no drawn-out litigation. Just clean lines. The last time we spoke meaningfully, she asked me if I hated her. I don't, I said honestly. I hate that you decided for me. That was the cost. Not the betrayal itself, but the weeks of curated silence. The chance to respond in real time taken away. When I moved into my new apartment, it felt sparse but honest. No secrets stored in drawers. No conversations waiting to be disclosed later. Daniel tried once to reach out again. I didn't answer. There was nothing left to calculate. Delayed truth doesn't soften impact. It compounds it. By the time it surfaces, it has already reshaped the room. And sometimes the only power you reclaim is the decision to let the consequences arrive exactly as they should, visible, documented, and no longer negotiable.